Great. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of The Hot Seat. And this is our 8th week doing this, right?
Yeah. It seems like we've been doing it forever, but we actually have not been doing it that long.
We're such naturals. It feels like we've been doing it our whole life. So my name is Jason Wolfer. I'm the directing pastor at Crossroads, and this is
Tim Lee. I am the CWAD here at Crossroads.
CWAD.
CWAD.
Contemporary Worship Arts Director.
Yeah, explain that fast. Yeah. And we have with us today the one and only, the amazing, the Renaissance man, the musician, the builder, the designer, the romantic that makes all of us guys look bad. Yeah. We get Doug Weston.
Yes. Good day, everybody.
Doug, welcome to the hot seat, man.
Thank you, but I don't think I deserve all those titles.
No, that's just like the truth. That's like non-exaggerated. You actually are all these things.
I appreciate.
You recently made every man. You set the standard for romance. Tell us what you did on your 35th wedding anniversary.
Well, so that's a misconception. Our actual 35th wedding anniversary isn't until November 8th.
Okay.
And this was actually a trip that I put together for our kids, for all our kids to fly in for a retirement trip.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And so we were all in. It was celebrating the 35 years of work. Is what it was. And I hired a photographer for beach family photo session on the thing. That was just my disguise. I wanted to do that, but it was my disguise as well because Julie has always wanted to do a vow renewal ceremony in front of the kids. And we want to demonstrate commitment and and such to the kids, and so I actually designed a ring.
I know you did.
And had it made. I did a 3D model on it and designed it, made it. And I had Jones Brothers worked with me, and there's a plug for Jones Brothers Jewelers there. And gave them the design, worked with them, and we modified from that. And I had it for a long time, but anyway, the plan was that after all the family photos and the couple photos, Julie and I were going to go last. And at the end, then I was just going to get down on one knee and ask her to marry me again present her with the ring. And the photographer was there to capture the whole thing. And it was just incredible.
And she said yes.
And she said yes. Although there was a moment, there was a pause. There was an awkward pause that had me concerned for a little bit.
It's like, okay, honey, come on.
I'm down here on one knee.
If you were going to reconsider, you should have sent me something ahead of time. Yeah. Doug, so that was just like something very Doug Weston to do. Just totally classy, totally big setup. So cool. So you have been coming here a few...
Wait, one thing I got to finish, though, is that I found a Methodist minister from the Isle of Palms and had in full robe behind the sand dune.
No kidding.
And her husband was out on the beach. So once I went down to the one knee, that was his cue to call her. So then she came out.
Oh my gosh.
and we did, and she introduced herself, and Julie's like, now? Yeah, we're doing it right now. And so there was another part to that.
There's always a Methodist minister hiding behind a rock somewhere. Somewhere.
She was so great, though.
So, Doug, so you've been coming here a few years, and I have always loved your passion, your energy, the way you worship, and your gift of, we could call it evangelism, of drawing people in. So tell us a little bit about your faith journey, like how you were raised, how your faith was grown. What have been some of the high points that have brought you to where you are right now?
Yeah, that's a long story. I'm an old dude here. I'm the oldest.
We got plenty of time.
Oldest one in the room.
This is your time, Doug.
I'll try to make it quick. I was born Catholic. I was baptized Catholic as a baby. I went Catholic grade schools, altar boy. I mean, all of that type of stuff, and been through that. And I was when Julie and I first got married, we had this will be like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever it's called. So we actually got married in Galesburg at the First United Methodist Church, where Sarah was her first
and
place.
Pastor Megan came
Pastor
out of.
Megan as well.
No kidding.
We were there, but Julie was Methodist. I was Catholic. We went to Catholic education, marriage, RCIA, whatever it was called at the time, and we had a priest and a Methodist minister, Reverend Mand, I can tell you his name, that both did the ceremony because I wanted to have the sacrament of marriage, as part of the Catholic and such, and we decided to raise our kids Catholic as well. Julie converted to Catholic, and then kind of went through the younger kids' ages and such, and we didn't send them to parochial school. They all went to public school, and then we just really started questioning, and a lot of the man-made rules is what I like to refer to it as, and we struggled with it because I'm a stained glass and steeples guy. I was born that way. That's my thing. I love contemporary music, so that's why you see that passion come out. But it was hard for us because we would go to, like, on a Saturday night Catholic service, and then we go to a Sunday some church. And Julie always says I exaggerate this, but I'm not kidding. I really feel as if we went to almost every church in the Peoria area. Just searching.
And that's looking. A lot of churches.
It was a lot. It was a lot, and we just, there's some churches that you struggled with because some of the leaders thought they had divine power, or you had, other things that just really turned you off. I was at one church that they actually talked down in church about Catholicism. It really kind of turned me off, and so different things like that. And we would come here, and then we'd try somewhere else, and then we come back here, and we try somewhere else, and we just kind of kept coming back because we had the wonderful mix of I would call it the stained glass and steeple traditional service, and you had the contemporary service, and we had both of those things, and hopefully the people of Crossroads truly understand what gift they have here, and that is it's just so welcoming. It is so. It's such a large church, but you get to be in such a small group. The small group things. It just we never felt so welcomed. We never felt so comfortable. We never felt like a church home. And I tell people this too. When I was working, church would have been not even on my priority list of, do I accept this new job in this new location? It wouldn't have even been on there. But now it is. It's on our list of we love our church home, and so that's just an incredible gift that you have all given us, and I just hope everybody appreciates what exists here. And so with that, yes, I get passionate about things like that, and I was really trying to get somebody new to come to Crossroads every week. I was literally...
Yeah, I know. You'd always say, because for those that don't know, Doug plays guitar in the praise band. But Doug, we'd be backstage, like after our little rehearsal, and he'd say, I got to go to the front door, and my buddy's coming, or my neighbor, or just some random person I met at the grocery store is coming that I invited. And it was like every week, and it was just like, man.
It was.
How do you do it?
It's just because you just talk about the things that you love, and it's I want other people to have that, and so I guess that's kind of the evangelism, side of it. It's just trying to draw as many people as we can.
Wow.
And just try to invest in as much of that as we can.
Well, we couldn't ask for anyone. We couldn't ask for any better testimony of good things at our church, could we?
Oh, no.
I mean, that's what you want every person to feel. But wow.
It is. But you also are very open and welcoming, like, what are your talents? What do you want to do? How do you want to help? Kind of thing. And brought right in, I'll never forget the first time I met Tim. I said, yeah, I play guitar. I'd love to do a rehearsal. And we rehearsed in the chapel. And I was in there. Tim was on piano. I was on the acoustic. And he says, let's play this. And it said, we'll just do like 2 or 3 songs. And I think it was an hour later.
Yeah, I think we ran through every song that you knew. We just were jamming out.
I think
we did everything from Neil Diamond to like George Strait. I mean, it was just
we were just jamming out, and he's like, that sounds good. And he looks at the brand on the guitar and he's like, oh, now I get it. I was like, that's good. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, you're a Martin guy. I know.
I
I looked at your Martin. You let me borrow your Martin when I was looking at Martins to buy, and so it helped me decide which one I want.
Yeah.
Well, you have a Martin D28, right?
I do. Yeah.
So if anyone listening that has no idea what we're talking about, like Martin guitar, it's like the last guitar you'll ever need. When you get like a Martin acoustic guitar, I mean, you might buy electric guitar, you might buy another style of acoustic guitar, but kind of like when you get it, it's like, okay, this is the guitar that you want, that you can grow old with. Yeah. It gets better every year.
It does.
Right?
It's the guitar that you hand down to the next generation.
Yeah.
To like your grandkids. It's like Grandpa's Martin guitar.
This is the one that is, it's actually a studio. They refer to it as the Studio Martin.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
That's what yours is.
Yeah. It's what's, what they record with mostly. And it's wonderful. And we just got great people like Dylan, that just makes it sound incredibly good, and how you guys mix everything.
So I remember, it was shortly after I got here. No, maybe a year after I got here, and Julie was doing things in the office for community Bible study. Yeah, and you guys are both so servant-minded. You say, oh, it's so easy to jump in. It's like, well, you guys jump in. I mean, you want to serve, you want to help people. And so it's very easy to plug in people who are willing to do whatever needs to be done. And so, but I remember talking to her. She's like, oh, where do you go to church? Well, we've gone here and here and here. I'm like, well, have you been back here in the last year or so? She's like, well, not in the last year. So I'm like, you got to come back, And so then she came and started coming, and then you started coming. And then all of a sudden, man, you were playing and jamming. And what I love about Doug is, he moves when he plays.
Oh yeah, my wife Ray every week she's like, that Doug, just the energy and the excitement. She just says it just flows like into her, and it like she
and then
gets her going.
And then other people move too because you move, and then they say whatever people put out from the stage is what they get back. So I'm like, well, since you're moving, other people are moving, and people out here feel like they can move. And so that's something really awesome.
Yeah, my kids always used to make fun of me because when I practice at home, even before I was playing here, that's just me. That's how I do it. Or if I'm even sitting down, I'm like, the foot's going, I'm moving around. And I've had kids text my wife, say, can you please tell Dad to stop? Because they were sleeping or studying or something, kind of thing. So, but I'll tell you, I want to tell you one more story, because it was one of the first times that I played here. And I had an elderly lady come up to me and grab me by the arm. And I thought, uh-oh, I'm going to get an earful here. And she said, son, if the spirit is in you and the body is willing, then you just go. Or something like that. It's like, I love you. I love you.
Oh, man.
Anyway.
So you jumped in here, you got really involved in the music ministry, and Julie, she has led, and now she's going to a different role in the community Bible study. She also runs a local food pantry, right? And she also helps with all kinds of ministries here. And then we've been to Israel. And so I want to hear about what you've got planned in retirement, but I also want to hear what have been some of the spiritual pivotal moments throughout your long journey, because you were raised Catholic and then you stuck with it. And to me, that's one of the big things I always want to hear. So people see you up there on stage playing now, so full of faith, so full of the Spirit. And so a lot happened in your life. What have been some of the things that from the time you were born to the time here that have been the pivotal things, the pivotal moments that have carried you to the point you're at now?
So it's really not a long story, to be honest with you, because there really wasn't much for that whole first part of my life. But I will tell you, I'm going to tell you guys a couple of things that I haven't told many people here. But I'll never forget. I think I was like a junior in high school, and my brother and I you met my brother Mark on our trip to Israel.
Yeah.
We shared a bedroom, and I was laying in bed and I was questioning, is there a God? Questioning. It was just going through that in my mind. And it's one of those typical teenage questions that are asked. I said, okay, God, if you're real, then make me laugh, kind of thing is what I had said to myself. And it wasn't like 15 minutes later, but my brother comes in. He was out, and he comes into the room, and he tells the worst joke I have ever heard. And so, and then it just connected with me, and it was like, okay, you just sent somebody to make me laugh. I said, now either you or my brother, one of you two don't have a very good sense of humor, because that was a crummy joke, But that was one kind of point in my life. And one thing, a lot of people know and don't know is that, we lost a 22-year-old son, while I was serving in the military. And, that was a pivotal point, in our life, and a struggle with, the Catholic Church and what to do with funeral-wise and such, and with where our beliefs were and such. And that was probably the most pivotal moment that sent us in the opposite direction. And so that was kind of a pivotal point in our life, and to see the strength in my wife during that period was just absolutely incredible. And it was faith, family, and friends, that carried us through that test. Is absolutely that was one. And one was I would say one of the most recent ones was on our trip to Israel. And
so if anybody didn't know, we had an amazing trip to Israel, mountaintop experience right before the pandemic hit.
I think the pandemic was probably going on. We just didn't know about it yet. And there was a terrorist attack, if you remember, on the way over there, on our way there.
Really?
Two things that were happening at the same time. But so we went, and it was just incredible with being with you and Sarah, and with the sons, or my brother and sister. I mean, just the other people from church, and not that goes to our church, like the Hendricks, which are incredible people. Just to get those relationships going in all of that, in that environment, was incredible. The trip to the Holy Land just makes the Bible I call it a pop-up storybook. The visualization. You'll be talking about something, and I can just see it. Because we saw it, and it was incredible. And it was the pivotal moment for me, because you saw different people have different emotional, spiritual connections at different times. And it was different things that would happen. And nothing was really happening. I didn't feel, that, to bring me to tears or anything like that. But we were in the it's the boat church. I think it's in
Magdala. Yeah,
it's in Magdala. And for those, it's right on the Sea of Galilee. It's the altar is actually a boat replica. It's a wooden boat, and it's all glass behind it, looking out to the Sea of Galilee. And there's pews there. We were all in there, and then there's different small chapels that are off to the sides.
Yeah.
And there's one of where it's a mosaic where Jesus is walking on water, and Peter's coming out of the boat, and he starts to lose his faith, and he's starting to sink. And what you see is just the hand coming up out of the water, and Jesus grabbing Peter's hand. And a common thing to do is to walk up to that mosaic and put your hand where Peter's is, and just say a prayer. And for me, I felt it. I mean, I absolutely felt it at that time, that it was because I've been carrying some things with me along my way, and if I'm drowning, I want somebody to grab my hand that way, and so I felt, and then I just went into the chapel, in the main chapel, and I just sat in a pew there, and I was just praying, and there was three things that that I really wanted to forgiveness. I just wanted to let go. And I was just focusing on them one at a time. And as I was doing the first one, and I'm staring out, I'm looking at the altar, I'm staring out, looking at the glass, looking at the sea. And as I'm doing this first one and trying to let this go, this black bird flies from the left from the right to the left, and then gets like straight at the altar, and then takes a 90 degrees and flies straight out to the sea. And I'm like, oh, that was interesting, kind of thing. And so I get back to what I'm doing, and as I'm on the second one, the same thing happens. A black bird flies from the right to the left out to the center and just does a 90 degree and flies straight out to the thing. And I'm starting to get chills. I'm starting to get chills just telling you this story. And as I'm focusing on the third one, the exact same thing happens again. And I know that it was God telling me, I've got this. The symbolism of the black, and going away and taking it away and flying, the relief that I had, and then if and I'm just sitting there by myself, and actually Julie came back up to get me because our whole group was down in the there was another mosaic down in the basement that there was doing a devotional down there, and they were getting ready to leave. And she comes to get me, and it scared me, a bit, tapping me on the shoulder. But then as we got out, we got to walk out to the sea, out behind it, and see the chapel from the sea and out there. And I am looking for any black bird I can find anywhere. And there's not. It's just the white seagull things, that are going on. And it was probably, it was just an incredible thing, for me. And it was just such a burdens, as those chains, it's those things, whatever you want to talk about, going away. And it was it for me. It was my spiritual moment, on that trip, So
that is so cool. That is like the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life. That is so amazing.
I think this podcast is over. I mean, it's like that's.
I know we're getting some crazy cool stories on this.
I've only told probably 3 people.
I love
that
it.
Story.
And that
and now I've just told hundreds.
Well, to me, it's what I love about that, with the laughing story in that story. It's like there's billions of people in the world. There's hundreds of people on this trip. But God, the God of the universe, did that just for you.
For me.
And he used the resources of nature to show you and to communicate with you in such an undeniable way. Yeah. And boy,
to happen 3 times over the 3 things, the exact same thing.
And it's I just don't you just wish that everybody could understand that the God of the universe, who manages all the planets and galaxies and the millions of people and hears all their prayers, don't you wish everyone could understand that he also is willing to interact with each one of us and loves each one of us right that way? Isn't that just so powerful?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Doug.
So that was the faith journey. The second part of your question,
wow,
we never got to, was retirement.
Yeah.
What am
I want to
doing?
hear. So when we were on that trip, you were talking about this thing that you wanted to do to help people, and people do this all the time. Like they'll say, "Oh, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this."
Yeah, when I retire, I got these plans, and I'm going to do this. And
I mean, the ideas that I hear that never come to fruition. It's like, if I had $1 for each one, But then all of a sudden, we had the pandemic. Time's passed. Now you're retired, and he did it.
I did it.
So tell us about this ministry, this wonderful foundation that you've started, and what you want to do with it.
Yeah. So, I first of all, I don't call it retirement. I call it repurposing.
Yeah.
I'm retiring means, going to the rocking chair or whatever, type of thing. I'm not doing that. It's repurposing. So, I'm doing some consulting. I'm still keeping my foot in the professional world. I teach international business at Bradley. I teach it at night, so IB 206. So if you all have sophomore level Wednesday night, the fall semester will be my class. So that's there. And then starting this new ministry, and I'll never forget. We were sitting in Israel. We were sitting at lunch, and we were having a conversation about, and I was telling you about this ministry I wanted to start, and so what it's called is Psalm 1611 Ministries, and it is the website is here's the advertisement. Get your pen and pencil ready. It's www.handsandfeet309.org, and we're official. We have merch now, so
that's a whole new level of actually did it.
And so and I brought this for you. So
no kidding.
I only got one, Tim. So
no kidding. I get this.
It is a brand new. Yep.
Okay, this is awesome. Is this hot and cold?
Yeah, it's a Yeti.
Oh, dude, I love it.
And it's got the ministry on it, and so common question I get is why'd you name it Psalm 1611 Ministries type of thing, and.
Okay. So Doug, why did you name it Psalm 1611 Ministries?
Well, I brought this. One of the letters that we received from our son while he was serving in the military, the one that we lost in 2015. This is the letter that he wrote, to us. But on the back of it, he had written the passage of 1611, Psalm 1611. And if you notice something, his handwriting of the Psalm 1611 here is what we incorporated in the actual trademark on the logo.
Yeah,
is we did the Psalm 1611. So we incorporated that, and so we thought that's a great way to honor Trent and name the ministry after that. So what's the ministry? There's incredible ministries that get people when they're at the bottom. Like Southside Mission, they do it. People, if they lose their car, they lose their job, they lose their family, they turn to bad things, and Southside Mission does a great job of sheltering them, feeding them, doing incredible things with them on teaching them skills, whether it's culinary skills or computer skills to bring them back into society. And one of the things that they do is they try to lead people to Christ. Is part of what they do. So wouldn't it be cool? The idea was, wouldn't it be cool if we could catch people that are already on the path with Christ, that are already there, that are just on the edge of coming down that curve, that just need a little bit of help. And so what we like to call it is, rather than as a charity to someone, it's an investment in someone. And that preserves their dignity, and they're not coming asking for a handout. We're going to them before they're asking for the handout, and we're investing in them. And it's just saying, look, dude, you're doing all the right things. You're on the right path. You are just there. We see it. God sees it. We're just the hands and feet, and that's why the website Hands and Feet 309. That's why, and we just see it, and we want to be able to invest in you, and we do that. And there's just incredibly generous people out there that believe in that mission, and we just launched the website. I sent you the link. I sent both of you the link on it to check it out and see what it's about. But Our leads come from the different pastors, ministers in the 309 area that who these people are.
Yeah.
You have a list as long as your arm of people that are on the right path, that are doing absolutely all the right things, that just need a little help.
So, are we talking about like micro loans, or are we talking about like grants? Or what are we talking about?
Yeah, no loans or anything like that. This is purely just monetary investment in the person. So it's something that we've been doing a little bit on the side alone,
Is this you and Julie that are starting this?
No, it's actually mine. Julie's not in this one, although she helps me with a lot on the thing. Yeah. But no, here's another thing is I just don't think that there's enough outward Christian men. There needs to be more Christian men coming forward and professing, that they're Christian men. And so I searched out for Christian men to help lead this ministry. So I have an attorney that is a great Christian man. I have a financial advisor. It's a great Christian man. And I have a guy that's doing all of our marketing, our website, all that type of stuff. That's a great Christian man from 3 different churches in the 309 area, and just are all believers in this. So we've got our legal covered, we've got our financial covered, we've got our technology covered, and I do all the solicitation. It's my idea, it's my mission, but I'm the one that's out knocking on the doors, asking for people to support this mission, and then come knocking. Once we get to the level that we want to be at, so when we come knocking on your door and saying, okay, we need a list of candidates on it.
And I know you've been talking about this for a long time. I mean, you've been so passionate about this. And, when you sent me the link to the website, I was like, yes, like we're live, And I think, and I relate to that, because you talked about, to me, that the people that are on sort of that downward spiral can trace it almost to like a single event that if they had help right at that single event, that the kind of the spiraling of things happening, and guys that are working several jobs, taking care of their kids and just doing all the right things and being a good Christian man, and they just need that little
and they're too proud to ask for anything, but when you come to them with an investment in them and say, we see you, God sees you, we're just the hands and feet that are just taking the treasures that we have to come and invest in you. Keep doing it, man, because you're on the right path. And that's, brings you back to the Psalm 16:11. You will show me the path of life, and your presence is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore. And that's, so it all just ties together.
This is just such a powerful, what you're trying to do is such a powerful reminder to me of how, I don't know about you, but for me, anything good that's come about in my life can probably be traced to one person seeing something in me at each leg of the journey that I did not see in myself, and offering me some kind of investment of themselves. Could be finances, could be time, could be whatever. And so it really is so catalytic. I mean, nobody does anything significant in life without somebody with resources looking at them and saying, I believe in you.
That's right.
And I will help you.
That's right.
Wow.
And just how great is it, the people that don't even know these individuals that are donating to this, saying, I believe in the mission, because maybe somebody helped me or something.
So is this people, and I need to explore it even more, is this people like who want to start a business, or who are in business but they're in a financial pinch?
No, it absolutely has nothing, anything to do with that.
Okay.
And it doesn't necessarily even have to be somebody that is financially strapped. I'll give you an example. We just invested in a youth minister.
Yeah.
This youth minister has 2 young children, married. The wife works as well. But think about all the good that Riley does for our church.
Yeah.
Just the youth ministers and what they do. But they don't make anything.
It's true.
I mean, they don't make anything. It's their passion. It's their, and if we can just say, man, you're on the right path. You're doing absolutely all the right things. God sees the work that you're doing. We see it. We want to be the hands and feet. We just want to invest in you and keep doing it, man. Did you just get goosebumps?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Wow.
Doug has that effect on everybody, like we talked earlier,
Wow. Yeah, so this is great. And so check that out, guys. Helpinghands309.org.
Hands and Feet 309. Hands and Feet.
Hands
309.org.
Hands and Feet 309.org.
Yep.
And so I got to tell you this. This is a true story too of how God winks at us. So today I was thinking, I've been traveling a lot with stuff, and so I've been drinking way too much coffee, and I'm like, I've got to quit drinking so much caffeine, start drinking more water. I'm like, I see people that carry these cool water glasses around all day long. I'm like,
Ta-da.
do I stop and get one? Where do I need one? I need to get something I can carry around. And then God said, yeah, here you go. Here
Ta-da.
you go. Yeah, I know, just totally. Literally, I was like driving in today, and I'm thinking, I need to get something that I can just carry around.
Well, there you go. It's hot and cold. There's
God
instructions on the inside.
So one of the questions I have, though, is, so when people watch a video of Crossroads, or they come to church and they see you up there, you're the same everywhere you go. Like, you're not somebody different up there than you are like right now, or you are after church. So I'm really curious about the kind of positivity, the good-naturedness, the contagious enthusiasm. Is that innate to you, or was that like developed through choices you made when you were younger to like shape your attitude a certain way? Is that just who you are?
I think it's just who I am, and it's just, one of 6 kids. This is something that's kind of going away in our society today, is the middle child.
Sure.
People just
We've talked about that.
It's 2. I'm number 4, so I'm and my sister Linda, we're the 2 middle children. And I just think you've got to, I just think you learn to be the politician, or the arbitrator, or whatever, in the middle, kind of thing. And I'll just take it back to family values. I think you just had an incredible upbringing with, 2 great parents and great siblings that we're all incredibly still close. I consider my brother Mark my best friend, today. Still, it's just incredible. So I don't know. I just think it's just part of the DNA.
That's cool. Cool.
And believe it or not, there's several that are just like me
in your family.
In my family, So they didn't break the mold when they.
So is that something that was, ingrained in you, like from a kid, like work ethic, attitude? Is that something that was taught you by your parents?
Yeah, work ethic. Everybody talks about like their first job. I can tell you, one of mine was paper routes, mowing lawns, shoveling driveways. You name it. It was cleaning the neighbor's screens. It's whatever we did. We didn't have much. There was 6 kids in basically a 2-bedroom house.
Wow.
That my dad converted the attic to 2 more, bedrooms. No bathroom up there or anything like that. The boys had to go. The 4 boys all were up in the attic, and we had to go all the way to the basement to a cinder block. Shower kind of thing. But, you never knew you were poor, because all your friends, your neighbors, everybody, y'all wore the same thing. Y'all had hand-me-down bikes. Y'all had, tough skins with patches on the knees, and such. It was until, I'll never forget when there was a kid outside our neighborhood that was a friend I went to school with, that he got a brand new 10-speed bicycle. And I thought he was the richest kid in the world. It was kind of the first time that I saw kind of a different class, kind of thing. But when you're in that environment, you don't know, and it's just your family. It's family, friends. I talk about my priorities, the 4 F's and a W, and I'm changing the W right now. But it was my faith, friends, family, and fitness, and work was the 4 F's. Those are my priorities, and that's what I always satisfy those priorities first. Before, you didn't hear golf, you didn't hear hunting, you didn't hear music, you didn't hear motorcycle riding, you didn't hear all those fishing, stuff like that. All things I love to do, but not until those other priorities are satisfied, and it makes it easy for making decisions, as you do that. So now it's just like 4 F's and a G, so I can get rid of the work and put golf in.
Well, man, I'm thinking of young fathers who might be listening. So faith. Family, friends, fitness,
and work.
Golf.
Work.
Yeah, golf now.
I'm really realizing that's really good, for me. I sometimes pick your brain about things, musically, or just, growing and maturing as a man of God. But boy, the fitness thing as I get older, I'm in my 40s. Boy, without that, you can't do the others very well, can you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And we used to, call it, corporate athlete, type of thing. And there's a great podcast that's out on corporate athletes if you ever want to do it. And it's just different executives of different companies and what they do for fitness.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's incredible. It's just like a 20-minute podcast.
So for people who don't know, you worked at Caterpillar for 35 years?
I did.
Yeah. And you have 2 master's degrees?
I have, yes, I have transcripts from multiple different universities, but I have an undergraduate in industrial engineering. I have a master's degree in manufacturing engineering, and I have an executive MBA.
Okay.
So
yeah, you just
two masters.
Yeah, and then you're a marathon runner.
Yes, I have.
Yes. Yeah. And then, and what was the last job you held at Cat?
I was the director of procurement for Caterpillar. So I was
for the whole organization.
Yeah. So I was. I reported to a group president who reported to the chairman of the board. So it was in a large multinational. Yeah. I mean, I had responsibility for $8 billion and 1,200 people around the world. It was 24/7. It was it was a major deal.
Yeah.
And I loved what I did. I loved the job. The politics, the pressure, the 24/7, stuff like that. It was just a bit much. And
well, yeah, I remember the schedule that you kept, and you'd fly in, and then you'd come and play guitar here.
Yeah.
That you could fit that in was amazing.
Yeah.
So, well, hey man, this has been great, and I can't wait to get this one out because I think you represent the faith, the spirit-filled, grandfather, young grandfather. Corporate guy, just that we all need to emulate as we get older. I mean, so you're right. Guys need to be more willing to wear their faith on their sleeve. Right. And so I think that you're a great example. Can't wait to get this out to some of our young fathers and just say, hey, Doug's a great guy to look to. So thanks for coming in,
Thank
dude.
you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. It's been
2
awesome.
of my favorite dudes.
And thanks for this.
Yeah, swag.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Tim will get one if he prays hard enough. So.
I'll borrow yours.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
All right. Thank you.